Weather brought to you by Whole Tree Care. Your trees and shrubs are growing like crazy. Are they blocking your view or posing a potential hazard? Call Whole Tree Care. They trim, shape, and remove trees. 435-760-6587.
This is David from Roof Rescue. This past winter in Cache Valley was the worst in recent memory, reminding us of the sheer power of Mother Nature. Snow, ice dams, and record low temperatures left behind a trail of leaks, broken gutters, and damaged roofs. Let's get those issues inspected and addressed so that when next winter comes around, you can focus your attention on your family, the holidays, and winter activities instead of leaks, drips, and ice dams. Call today for your complimentary inspection at 435-999-4268 or visit us at roofrescueusa.com. Roof Rescue, providing watertight peace of mind.
KBNU News Time is 4:05. CAPSA, Citizens Against Physical and Sexual Abuse, recently received a second donation from Century West Insurance Services, totaling $10,000 from the organization, thanks to the support from the local community. CAPSA is a vital organization that offers safe shelter, advocacy, and support to survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault while working to prevent further abuse through education. The $10,000 award will provide essential funding for CAPSA's initiatives, including support for 230 casework sessions and assistance to 41 survivors of domestic and sexual violence. This contribution will enable CAPSA to offer survivors the necessary physical and emotional resources that they require, such as access to emergency shelters, employment services, support groups, and assistance with various needs like food insecurity and job training. The journey leading to this substantial donation began in May when Paul Bora, president of Century West Insurance Services, initially received a $5,000 donation for CAPSA through the 2023 Make More Happen Awards organized by Liberty Mutual and Safeco Insurance. The story of the local partnership was prominently featured on the official Make More Happen microsite, which provided the insurance company with an opportunity to launch a local awareness campaign to raise an additional $5,000 in support of CAPSA. Over 600 votes were cast on the site in favor of the initiative. With the support and engagement of the community, the fundraising goal was not only met but exceeded, resulting in a total donation of $10,000 for CAPSA. The contribution will empower CAPSA to continue their essential work of providing safe shelter, advocacy, and support to survivors, while actively striving to reduce incidents of abuse through prevention education. And a federal judge has awarded $152 million in damages to ex-members of the fundamentalist LDS Church over abuses they suffered while in the Utah-based polygamous faith. In a judgment issued late last Thursday, U.S. District Court Judge Ted Stewart granted the massive amount of damages against FLDS leader Warren Jeffs. The verdict follows a trial last year where ex-members of the faith testified about forced marriages, rapes, and other abuses they suffered while in church that they blamed Jeffs for. The plaintiff's attorney, Roger Hooley, said in a statement to Fox 13 on Friday he was pleased with the verdict. Collecting the money may prove difficult. Any assets Jeff still may have are likely scattered across the country as still faithful FLDS members have left Hilldale, Utah, and Colorado City, Arizona under increased scrutiny and pressure. The state of Utah took control of a multi-million-dollar trust fund the FLDS Church ran and split up its assets after more than a decade of litigation. As he has done in nearly every piece of litigation leveled against him since he was convicted of child sex assault related to underage marriages and sentenced to life in prison in 2011, Jeff simply refused to respond to the lawsuit, so he was found in default judgment. In depositions in other lawsuits, he has consistently refused to answer questions beyond his name, citing his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. But Jeffs apparently still leads his church from his Texas prison cell. Last year, a new edict sought to call people back to the FLDS Church. That edict has alarmed ex-members who claim that family members have vanished as a result of the revelation They have pleaded with law enforcement to do more to investigate the disappearances. Utah Attorney General Sean Reyes' office has said it is monitoring the situation surrounding Jeff's edict. KBNU News Time is 4:10. For more details on these and other stories, visit CacheValleyDaily.com.
Local news and the best talk. News Talk KVNU.
Dr. Josh Red, chiropractic physician, explains how Red River Health and Wellness can help you.
A lot of our patients end up having autoimmune conditions. This is where their immune system, rather than attacking bacteria, a virus, or other bad things, it starts to attack their own tissue. This can cause so many different issues and symptoms throughout the whole body. The biggest thing for us at Red River is to identify what's causing the autoimmune response to flare up. This could be intestinal problems, blood sugar imbalances, cortisol defects, hormonal imbalances, along with something as simple as dietary triggers and environmental triggers. One of the most common causes, too, when you have an autoimmune condition is you'll have inflammation throughout the whole body. Not every patient will have the same imbalances or the same triggers, and so we have to customize a very personalized treatment plan in order for these patients to feel better.
Schedule your appointment today at 855-55-RIVER. Red River Health and Wellness with offices in Logan, South Jordan, Springville, and St. George.
Call Red River today.
What if you could come home every day to a peaceful retreat nestled in the mountains? A place that's only minutes from downtown Logan, but offers access to national forests from your own backyard, surrounded by mountains, horse riding, hiking trails, babbling brooks, and more. All this at Maple Creek Ranch, which is now in its fourth and final phase of development. 2.5-acre lots, your own piece of paradise that's remote yet accessible. And road improvements will be completed this summer. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Go to maplecreekranch.net. Maple Creek Ranch, just east of Franklin, Idaho.
For the people.
We are waiting with bated breath for news from the Cache Republican Party meeting an executive committee tonight.
With Jason Williams.
And I'm really excited about this next segment. We have two guests here in studio. We're going to talk about something that we've talked about many times here on the show, but from a bit of a different angle.
Weekday afternoons from 4 till 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM.
Welcome to KVN News for the people. Kind of an odd day, weather-wise. Beautiful, though.
It looks like it's trying to rain right now.
Yeah. Which would be welcome.
Yeah.
It's pretty warm out there.
It's been kind of dry now for a while.
I was telling Bill, that if I just kind of wander off mid-sentence or just stop talking and you can just hear humming or something. I got a little heat stroke today, which reminded me to remind everyone to be really careful about this. Luckily,
I'm glad the hospital let you loose and come do the show.
It didn't go that far, but I've definitely got that headache, and I can tell that I have been too warm at some point today, doing some stuff outside while it was cloudy and cool. And then things just weren't going well, connecting some sprinkler pipe, things like that. And the sun came out, and it got warm. Had to finish at that point, but
even when it would cloud over, it was like a hot, sticky day.
Then it would just get humid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It's something to take seriously. Heat stroke, of course, is most serious for older folks. But it can happen to anybody, even young children, though they bounce back a little faster. And the signs of it, if you know the signs, you can actually, I thank Bear River Health Department for this. They've got some great information on their website, and we've talked about that and with them about this several times over the years. And so I started to recognize some of the signs of heat stroke today while I was out there in the fields and was able to stop myself, step into the shade, drink some cool water, sit and rest for a bit, let myself cool down, and then get back to work. But it's a serious thing. Heat stroke kills thousands of people a year worldwide, in the United States, tens of thousands worldwide. And it's something that generally can be easily avoided. But it sets in quickly. And I was reminded of that today. It goes from, wow, sure is warm and sweaty out here, to heat stroke in a matter of minutes. And if you're not on top of it, it can be pretty nasty. So just reminded myself of that today and getting a little bit of it myself. And I've linked to it on our Facebook page. But go ahead and look at some of the symptoms and some of the things you can do to prevent it as well. Speaking of heat and potential rain, but maybe not. We did get some today, at least the south end of the valley, a pretty heavy, 3-minute rainstorm. Yeah, pretty localized, but it was coming down hard there for a few minutes and then just moved on, just a little isolated thunderstorm. But otherwise, the forecast is clear, and as you may have noticed, it is warming up. It's been a very, very wet spring. We're headed into the biggest fireworks holiday of the year tomorrow and tomorrow night. And then, of course, another one coming up the end of the month for the 24th. It's going to dry out quickly, land managers say. Fire marshals and fire districts keeping a close eye on this so they can get word out as quickly as possible. But, again, things still fairly green out there. If you drive the canyons, looking at the mouths and the benches where those wildfires have been in the past, you still see a little hue of green. That's going to be gone if temperatures hold up the way they have been. If the amount of precipitation stays as low as it is, that's going to dry out in a matter of days to weeks. And there, at that point, is just a lot of fuel out there. So the Bureau of Land Management, in fact, the West Desert District, issued a fire prevention order to implement what they call seasonal fire restrictions throughout northern and central Utah. And these measures are basically on BLM managed lands that do come into certain counties. Cache, Box Elder, and Rich counties here in northern Utah have BLM lands within them. And there's a increased wildland-urban interface, which means these areas that used to be just vast stretches of empty land. Our population, our subdivisions, our sprawl has bled out into them as we have had to build more housing as we grow. And that interface, they call it the wildland-urban interface, is more intense here in northern Utah than it's ever been before. In fact, their collective population count for northern and central Utah is 86% of Utah's residents right now. That's huge. 86% of Utah's residents live in an area in which wildfire is a risk.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Now, granted, most Utahns live along the Wasatch Front in Salt Lake and Utah counties. Cache County coming in, third or fourth there as far as population goes. And Rich and Box Elder falling way down population-wise. But still, 86% of Utah's residents live in an area in which a wildfire is a possibility. Now, that doesn't mean it's a high possibility, and that doesn't mean we can't do things to make sure it doesn't happen. But it's just something to, I don't know. I read that this morning, and I thought, wow, that is stark. Here at CacheValleyDaily.com, you can read this. I've linked to it on our Facebook page. Michael Gates, BLM West Desert District Manager, emphasized the need for, quote, vigilance in preventing wildfires, particularly as warmer temperatures are expected to dry out the abundant grass and greatly heighten the risk of fires in the coming weeks. Despite record snowfall through the winter and rainfall over the past few months, the potential wildfire danger remains very high. The affected counties, Box Elder, Cache, Juab, Millard, Morgan, Rich, Salt Lake, Tooele, Summit, Utah, Wasatch, and Weber. That is all of them for the most part. No, that's not all of them. There are 29 counties here in Utah, but that's a lot of them. And so effectively, immediately, there is a prohibition on steel component ammunition, steel component targets, basically anything that could make a spark, sky lanterns or similar devices, and operating off-highway vehicles without spark arresters. They are going to be aggressively checking this. In fact, something new this year that you might see. I'm not sure where these are going to be, but I did. Bureau of Land Management and Utah land managers have said they're going to be making more use of road checkpoints. Oftentimes you see these in hunting season. They'll do a random checkpoint so everyone coming out of a canyon, they can check for tags and things like that. They're going to be doing this on some of the more remote roads now, especially where wildfire is at the most risk for wildfire areas like that. So expect to see that more than you ever have before. Little checkpoints where they're going to be, as people come through on OTVs and other things like that, checking for dragging chains. That's another one that they'll be checking for. I saw this just the other day. If you're towing and you have those safety chains, in addition to the hitch there where you connect, make sure that they are going to clear. People would be surprised. You can really see it at night. This was just dusk, but I saw someone headed up Logan Canyon, and they were sitting at the light below the hill on 4th North, the University Hill. So they hadn't even gotten into the canyon yet. And as they came up to the light, and as the light changed for them and they took off, just dragging a chain, and at dusk, you could see the sparks. Yeah, and I mean, it was connected, but it was too slack, and it was dragging on the roadway.
In May and early June, you could probably get away with that, but it's getting all those abundant grasses, all that fuel is starting to dry out, and will so as it gets warmer.
Yeah,
will continue to do so.
And it doesn't seem like something like that could actually lead to a wildfire, but a lot of them have been sparked this way.
Yeah.
Here in Utah and throughout the Intermountain West. So watch those chains. Make sure they're clearing. Make sure they will clear if you go through. As the road changes and your vehicle pivots and turns and dips and swells and all that in the road. Make sure it's going to clear throughout all of that, because it hits the road, that metal on the chain, it will spark, and it can throw a spark into dry vegetation just off the side of the road, and boom, you've got a wildfire. It's that quick. So they recommend something else to watch for and think about. Now, there was a bad fire several years ago in Saratoga Springs that almost took out some brand new housing that was sparked this way. Parking your vehicle. There was an event, a neighborhood event, and it was in an area outside of where the house has been built, just kind of an open area, and they'd set up tents and things like that. And I think it was like a kids' farmer's market or something like that, like we have here in a couple places. But people were parking in the field next to it, which, I mean, that was designated parking. But the grass was tall, and some vehicles pulled in there, and those catalytic converters get hot. And they pulled in on some dry vegetation, and then their car didn't burn. They left. They were able to. I mean, the person that they think sparked this, because of where they were parked and where the fire started, actually went to the farmer's market, the kids' market, got back in their car and went home. But they'd smoldered that grass under the vehicle, and a fire started within minutes.
Once the car was gone, more oxygen to that smoldering.
Yeah, it was just enough, and that was a wildfire, and that was, I think, 3 or 4 days before they got that one out. Almost lost some homes. So, it's honestly, you've got to take this stuff seriously. So, some other recommendations from marshals and the BLM on, especially if you're out in these areas, these unincorporated areas, BLM lands and more, forest lands as well, Forest Service lands in the canyons, where there are a lot of dry areas. Man, you should see up by Franklin Basin. That is, the grass is 3-4 feet tall in some places, and it's already losing, even at its elevation there at Franklin Basin, it's already losing that green hue.
Yeah,
and that's just
ready fuel,
lightning wildfire waiting to happen. So that's a big enough risk we can't control. These are the things we can control. So. Traditional advisory in place. Ensure campfires are fully extinguished. Or better yet, refrain from building campfires in the first place. It only takes a 15-mile-an-hour wind to take an ash from a campfire and shoot it 50 yards. And you don't know when that wind's coming. So if you don't need a campfire, don't have one. In fact, they make some cool little propane ones now that smell a lot better in the first place. Won't give you that campfire headache. And trust me, I'm a campfire fan. I love nothing more than sitting around a campfire and watching the flames and talking with my family. I love that. But it doesn't have to happen in all these conditions. So as things dry out, maybe forego the campfire. If you don't, make sure it's out. Not just don't see any flames, but it's still smoking. Keep soaking it till it's out. Because the minute you leave, a little breeze kicks up, it's a fire again. Target shooting, just don't. Just honestly don't. I'm paraphrasing their advisory, but that's basically what they're saying. Target shooting right now is
wait until
just
winter.
A horrible idea. So there are designated ranges. There are very safe places to do this. There are safer times of year to do this. Just don't. And if you know someone who's going out target shooting, or you see someone and you know them enough to say this, just say something to them like, "Hey, that's not a good idea." If you are target shooting, even in those designated areas where it's safe to do so, use a backstop, not rocks and cliff sides where there's dry grass and things like that. And also in these same areas and in unincorporated areas of Cache County, in fact, cutting, welding, and grinding metal, that's not advised right now. Trailer chains, I already mentioned, make sure they lift above the ground and will not touch as you're towing to create sparks. Parking vehicles with hot exhaust systems over dry grass, I already mentioned. This isn't part of the advisory that often gets missed, but maintenance on your vehicle. Tires, wheels, bearings. You have a tire with the metal showing a little bit. That tire should be replaced for a lot of reasons, but an extremely worn tire can actually spark on the roadway and cause a fire. Trailer bearings, they get hot if they're not in a good state. Well, they get hot in general, but if they're wearing out, they'll get extremely hot, and that's a mechanical failure that can cause a fire. It's happened. And, of course, have your OTVs inspected, have the exhaust system inspected and more if you don't know how to service that kind of stuff yourself, because you can avoid, like an unsecure mount or a failing spark arrestor, and you are the cause of the wildfire in your pictures in the newspaper. Yay. And finally, smokers, don't flip them out the window. I mean, there's a lot of reasons not to do that in general, but especially right now. Just don't fully extinguish and properly dispose of cigarettes, cigars, anything like that. So these prevention orders are in place as of, I believe it was actually yesterday at midnight. And this is because in these counties, Box Elder, Cache, Rich, Morgan, Salt Lake, Summit, Tooele, Juab, Millard, Utah, Wasatch, and Weber counties, there's a lot of fuel and things are drying out very fast. So just be smart. We'll be back right after this.
Does your financial advisor take the time to really listen to you? Is your financial strategy personalized for you and your family? When you work with Edward Jones in Cache Valley, they focus on what's important to you. They'll help you create a personalized financial strategy backed by their advice, tools, and resources to help you reach your goals. And Edward Jones will partner to help your strategy stay on track, no matter what happens. Call one of the 7 Edward Jones locations in Cache Valley. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
This is the Sean Hannity Show.
One high school teacher in California threatened to punish students who protested a pride video in a math class. Why are we showing pride videos in math class? I mean, are we using some type of algebraic equation to determine, how many, people are pride in the picture? I mean, is that what it is? How about we teach our kids the basics, the fundamentals?
Weekday afternoons from 1 to 4 on News Talk KVNU.
You're listening to KVN News for the people. Coming up, again, if you want to see the fire restrictions in place for unincorporated areas, Forest Service lands, and BLM lands, just in general, anything that can make a spark or anything that's hot is potentially going to cause a wildfire in the coming days and weeks. So just be smart. But you can see them in detail via the CacheValleyDaily.com story I've linked to on our Facebook page, or find it there on the main page of CacheValleyDaily.com. Coming up, Kendra Penry will join us. We'll get an update on what Stokes Nature Center is up to. They've been kind of laying low for the last couple of years through the pandemic and more, but they've come back swinging with a lot of events and a lot of brand new things. Kendra will give us an update. And then coming up at 5 o'clock, representatives of Hyde Park will be joining us. We haven't checked in with Hyde Park in some time, and they have a lot of cool things planned, including their Hometown Days celebration, a classic car show that's new, and their famous, I would say, barbecue rib competition. So Representative of Hyde Park joining us in hour 2. All of that coming up after these headlines with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News Time is 4:31, and the news is brought to you by Logan Extermination. While many towns in Cache Valley are grappling with changes in garbage service, residents of Providence can breathe a sigh of relief as their services remain unaffected for the time being. Last year, Logan City, the primary provider of garbage services throughout Cache County, declared its decision to discontinue its services by the end of 2023. In response, several cities in the region banded together to explore alternative waste management systems. However, Providence took a different approach. During a recent session, the Providence City Council unanimously approved a proposal to seek bids for the acquisition of their own commercial garbage trucks. Simultaneously, they devised a comprehensive plan to transition to an internal waste management system. The council promptly placed orders for new garbage trucks to serve the residents of Providence. In addition, preliminary measures have been set in motion to ensure a smooth transition to the city's independent waste services. The provision of garbage, recycling, and green waste pickup will continue uninterrupted under the new system, although specific pickup days might change. The anticipated commencement of the switch-in service is expected in late spring of 2024. Until then, Providence will continue to honor its contract with Logan City. The city officials have assured residents they will receive further updates and relevant information as it becomes available. These updates will be disseminated through various channels, including social media platforms, the official city website, and the monthly newsletter. Witnesses report seeing globs of asphalt binder that spilled into Montana's Yellowstone River during a bridge collapse and train derailment on islands and the riverbanks a week after the spill. Officials with the Environmental Protection Agency said cleanup efforts began Sunday. It involved workers cooling the asphalt binder with river water, rolling it up, and putting the globs into garbage bags. Alexis Bonagovsky took pictures Saturday of the refined petroleum products covering rocks and sandbars and an image of a bird that had died after getting stuck in the black substance. The bridge collapse and derailment happened on June 24th, downstream from Yellowstone National Park. And All-NBA center Domantas Sabonis was not a free agent this summer, and he won't be for the next few summers either. Sabonis has agreed to a 4-year contract with extension, that is, with the Sacramento Kings, one that will keep him signed through the 27-28 season. According to a person with knowledge of the talks, another team, our very own Utah Jazz, was finalizing an extension for guard Jordan Clarkson on Sunday as well, according to a second person who spoke to the Associated Press on condition of anonymity because it had not been signed. KVNU News Time is 4:34.
With summer here, our beautiful lawns face a new threat. It's a threat you can't see because it's happening below the grass level, at the roots. Those nasty billbugs and grubs are beginning to hatch and they are hungry. Your lawn is a smorgasbord to them and they can't wait to belly up to the table. Get a jump on those bugs by calling Logan Extermination today. They'll apply a custom spray for bugs and also fertilize to keep weeds under control and your grass growing tall. Logan Extermination, 752-8450.
No arrests yet as police search for who shot up a block party in Baltimore late Saturday night. This woman took 2 people to the hospital.
You guys jump in my car, let's go. And zoomed them to the hospital. And I kept telling the girl, just baby, just breathe in and out. It was horrible. Families coming in, families crying, families running to the back, families coming out like they had lost loved ones.
2 people were killed, more than 24 others hurt in the shooting. A day after 6 people were found dead after a stabbing and fire in Green Pond, South Carolina. Ryan Manigo was in court, a father of one of the victims. Charges include murder, no bail. Cops say a 13-year-old girl survived. Inside a Palestinian refugee camp on the West Bank, the Israeli military swooping in by the hundreds. Israel claiming the camp houses terrorists and that they've seized weapons there. Some deaths and injuries reported. The Palestinian president condemning the Israeli raid. Holiday travel breaking records. The TSA screening about 2.7 million people a day since Thursday. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
KBNU weather for tonight. Chance of a few thunderstorms, 30% chance. And some of the storms could produce strong gusty winds this evening, low in the mid-50s. Looking at the latest radar picture, storms kind of on the very northern edge of Cache County, right along the Utah-Idaho border. And more storms to the southwest of us that could impact parts of the Wasatch Front a little bit later. It's going to be partly cloudy tomorrow morning, then mostly sunny, mid-80s for the high. It's been to 86. It's 79 right now at KBNU. KBNU weather brought to you by Whole Tree Care. Your trees and shrubs are growing like crazy. Are they blocking your view or posing a potential hazard? Call Whole Tree Care. They trim, shape, and remove trees. Call 435-760-6587. For the latest news 24/7, visit CacheValleyDaily.com. Let's check Wall Street now with Edward Jones.
This is Senior Branch Office Administrator Monique Benson bringing you the daily financial market report on behalf of Daryl Arnell and Edward Jones. The stocks and bond markets closed early on Monday in advance of Tuesday's holiday. Unsurprisingly, equities finished little changed amid the quiet session given the shortened week and a limited economic data calendar on Monday. There were no major signals from underlying leadership, with sector performance closely clustered together, except for the customer discretionary sector, which received a boost from the jump in Tesla shares following an announcement of better-than-expected delivery and production figures for the electric car maker. Interest rates were slightly higher, continuing their upward trend in response to recent string of strong economic data and implications for Fed policy ahead. The Dow Jones closed up 11 points at 34,418. The Nasdaq closed up 29 points at 13,817, and the S&P 500 closed up 5 points at 4,456. In commodity markets, the price of crude oil was down 25 cents to $70.39. And the spot price of gold was up $1.20 to $1,930.60. In stocks of local interest, Home Depot was down 62 cents to $310.02. Lowe's Companies was down $1.11 to $224.59. Nucor was up $1.63 to $165.61. Thermo Fisher was down $2.64 to $519.11, and Northrop Grumman was up $2.36 to $458.16. This has been today's financial market report brought to you on behalf of Edward Jones, member SIPC, and financial advisor Daryl Arnell, serving individual investors with personalized attention and financial advice. If you'd like additional information, please contact our office at 435-713-6925. Daily commentary is also located on our website at edwardjones.com.
Join world-renowned pianist, composer, and producer William Joseph for an exclusive summer concert event. Joining the summer concert tour is Daniel Emmett, an America's Got Talent finalist and Las Vegas headliner who has toured with Marie Osmond and David Foster. You'll be wowed by Amy Manford, an Australian-American soprano best known for her captivating performance in The Phantom of the Opera and recently completed a tour with Andrea Bocelli. You won't want to miss this stunning and breathtaking night of spectacular music in Logan, July 11th at the Danes Concert Hall. Tickets are on sale now at williamjosephmusic.com.
Just like you, a healthy tree is a happy tree. At Hull Tree Care, their team is dedicated to caring for your trees. By now, your trees and shrubs are growing like crazy. Perhaps you have some trees blocking your view or posing a potential threat. If so, call Hull Tree Care. They'll get your trees in perfect shape and enhance their beauty. Need a tree or stump removed? No problem. Their cleanup crew will leave your yard clean and tidy. Call 760-6587. That's 760-6587. Or visit hulltreecare.com.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. Jumping right back in with a special guest joining us here. We haven't really talked about them much over the last couple of years. That's our fault, not theirs. They've had plenty going on. You know, the pandemic came along, and it got us out of, here on the show, it got us out of some of the habits that we developed, where we would check in with certain organizations known for filling the calendars with all kinds of fun events you can get out to. And it's taken us a while to get back into that groove. One of those is one of my favorites, the Stokes Nature Center, which you can find online at logannature.org. They also have social media channels you can follow and more. And they do a lot of cool stuff, from the Canyon Jams, regular musical events that happen sort of picnic and lounge under the trees style there in the canyon, to camps, opportunities to actually get out and make some friends from others who enjoy outdoor activities here in Cache Valley. Community events, events for children, school programs, nature preschool. They have community education programs. In fact, I learned quite a bit about the plight of the butterfly from Stokes Nature Center a few years ago, and that's why I now have a gigantic patch of milkweed growing in a corner of one of the pastures. Either way, this is a really cool organization you should support, and I'm excited to be able to check in with them again after a long hiatus. Again, our fault, not theirs. Joining us right now, Executive Director of Stokes Nature Center, our friend Kendra Penry. And Kendra, appreciate taking some time for us today. Like for us, it's been a weird few years for all of you as well, right?
Of course. First of all, yes, thank you for having us. And like you said, it has been, interesting, I think is the best word. We had 2020, all of us were struggling, but everyone was being told being outside was safe. So a lot of people coming to us for ideas and things to do, but we couldn't have groups, so how do we do this? And created some new programs for that people loved, and then we kept them as we started getting back to, quote-unquote, normal. And now here we are, it's 2023, and most of our favorite things are back on the calendar, but we're constantly trying new things or creating new programs because we know that new people are coming to the valley, or the kids that went to our preschool are now growing up, and we're wanting to make sure that everybody, no matter what age you are or where you're from, that you feel like nature is accessible and nature is for you. It doesn't have to look the same as it does for your neighbor. You don't have to go for a 10-day backpacking trip. You can just go outside and listen to some great music and have a meal, and you'll get the same benefits from nature that we all deserve to have.
Sure. And this is, especially for people maybe new to the valley or new to spending time outdoors in general, Stokes Nature Center is a great way to meet other people of like minds and like activities, these semi-regular camps that are scheduled and more. But one of my favorite things, Kendra, is the education aspect of the Stokes Nature Center. And for listeners, there's one coming up just this Saturday, July 8th at 11 a.m., the Canyon Adventures Great Salt Lake course will take place. And Kendra, this is one that's on everybody's mind because the lake, things weren't looking that great. They look a little better this year, but I read just last week that we've hit the pinnacle of what we're going to get from that snowpack melt as far as lake elevation goes. And here in northern Utah, we experienced this through both wondering what's going to happen with the water management that might affect us to save the lake, but also the dust settling on the snow, the dust in the air from that exposed lake bed. All of this is going to be talked about Saturday, right?
Absolutely. So Great Salt Lake, as you mentioned, just keeps coming up, and it's going to keep coming up. It's such a big part of the identity of the state, and I think a lot of us just don't understand how much we impact it. We might feel somewhat separated from it up here in Cache Valley, but a very large percentage of the water in Salt Lake comes from the Bear River watershed. So the decisions that we make here very much impact the lake, and we want everyone to understand that and to know that it's a time for us to make good decisions because we can still have a positive impact on the future of the lake, which is so important for our health and for our tourism and our economy, everything. So this Saturday, we're going to go into that. And for those of the right age group, we also spent this last year developing a standards-based school program about Great Salt Lake for kindergarten through sixth grade. So if there are any teachers interested in that, it helps bring in all of your standards from science to literature to math even to really build a curriculum around Salt Lake so that the youngest of us know how we can have a positive impact now, and that way the Salt Lake will still be there when they're the age of being a teacher. But then we also have a high school program and a few other ways for people to get involved because it's just such an important piece of who we are, and we don't want to lose it, not just because it's pretty, but because it's really important for all of us.
Sure. And this is a great example of what educational opportunities you can get through the Stokes Nature Center. These events, most of them are free and they're easy to find. If you don't know where Stokes Nature Center is, well, you kind of can't miss it up Logan Canyon, but directions to finding it are right there on the website, and you've driven past it more times than you know. It's also an organization that depends on community support from memberships, paid and otherwise, to direct donations and business sponsors and more. That's how Stokes Nature Center runs, so you can find information on that as well at logannature.org, their website. But you can volunteer from individual volunteer opportunities to group service projects. And then this, Kendra, is my favorite. You're looking for community volunteers to serve as community scientists, helping actual research, right?
Absolutely, yes. Citizen science has become increasingly important over the years as people gathering data at PhD level or research level realize just how valuable those of us who are in the community every day can be. So we have a citizen science program right now for people to help us track and understand our pollinators and fireflies. I'm not sure how many people know about the western firefly, but we are lucky enough to have a few populations of it in Cache Valley, and it is very rare. We actually know very little about it. So this is an opportunity for us to start to understand where it lives, its life cycle, how common it is, but we need a lot of hands to make that happen. So people can volunteer for that. Any age is welcome to come out. There's multiple different stages of that process, from being in the field to not being in the field, so that you can find what works for you. And if that's not your thing, if bugs aren't your thing for whatever reason, I know not everybody loves them, we have ways that you can volunteer at the Nature Center and be a host. You can help us keep Jayswell Park in Providence beautiful, which is something that we've partnered with the city there on. And we have just a variety of other one-off or multi-opportunity chances to volunteer, because it's just one of those ways for people to give back. Stokes Nature Center was founded from the beginning to be for everyone. It's why most of our programming is free, but the way that we keep it free is through donations from the community and through volunteers. And that way more people can participate. They don't even have to ask. They can just show up and enjoy it, no matter who they are or where they come from. And like the program this Saturday is free. All of our canyon adventures are free. And then our nature tales for kids on Friday mornings are free. But those all depend on volunteers and donations to make that happen.
Sure. And more information on that, you can click on volunteer or donate or both on their website at logannature.org. Again, the free Canyon Adventures educational opportunity this Saturday at 11 a.m. at Stokes Nature Center, focused on the Great Salt Lake with Jamie Butler. Coming up, a cultivation workshop on learning to grow mushrooms. And this is a paid course, but you will leave with mushroom spawn, the website says. And that one's $35 a person. So as you can see, things are cheap or free. And this is a great organization to support, whether it be through your volunteer time, your donations, or just spreading the word about their events and more. And one more thing we need to talk about, Kendra, because this is one of the most popular things, I think, with the Stokes Nature Center on an ongoing basis, the regular Canyon Jams concert that happened right there at the center. This is a beautiful place to see music being played, right?
Yes. So this summer we're actually hosting Canyon Jams at Von Bear Park in Providence.
And it's amazing view. We should point that out, right?
Yes, it is gorgeous out there, and there's more room so we can have more people because we want as many people as possible to be able to come out because it is a family-friendly event. It's one of those easy things to do in nature. Just come, bring a blanket, bring a chair, your family, your friends, yourself, whoever. You can bring food, or we partner with Lucky Slice to have them delivered to the park, and a portion of those proceeds go to Stokes as well. But just to make it simple for you to have a meal and have a great show for the evening. We had our first one last Saturday with the Coffis Brothers, first time we ever had them, and they were fantastic. It was a great way to start the season. But we still have 7 more, so you can buy a season pass, you can buy a ticket. Any age is welcome, and it really is just, it's beautiful. You'll sit there as the sun goes down. The Von Bear Park cools off so quickly. So on these hot days right now, it's actually really lovely to sit out there as everything cools off around you and just listen to the water that's flowing this year thanks to our amazing winter snows, and also have some really good entertainment. It is one of those programs that people just love. They look forward to it, and we're happy to do it because it's fun for us too.
Sure.
To have some good music for an evening.
That is, an amazing lineup this year as well. From a double feature of anime and two-headed trout on September 2nd to just kind of randomly jumping around here, as you said, coming up the 21st of July, Grizzly Goat. These are great bands, and honestly, the park there at Von Bear Park, the view is amazing. Tickets are available online. You can also buy a season pass. You've only missed one show, so you'd still get your money back out of that season pass. They're cheap. General admission is $15. Children under 12, $10. And the money does go to support the Stokes Nature Center as well. And this is a great way to do so. Again, you can also volunteer your time in various ways, from citizen science to community workshops and individual volunteer opportunities. You can donate directly or check out their online shop. Also check out their YouTube channel. Some great videos there, including instructions on how to build a bee hotel, things like that. It's just an amazing organization. And our guest again, Executive Director of the Stokes Nature Center, Kendra Penry. And Kendra, really appreciate taking some time for us. And we'll see you out there at some of the workshops, classes, and concerts.
Absolutely. I'll be there, and thank you.
Oh, our pleasure. Always great to have you join us here on the show, and we'll speak again soon.
Sounds good.
One more time for listeners, their website, logannature.org. Check out and support. Take advantage of what they have to offer, but also support the work of the Stokes Nature Center. All the information you need, from the concerts to the classes to the ongoing opportunities where you can be involved directly, either in a fun way or a helping out kind of way, or both, at logannature.org. And we'll be back right after this.
This radio station is proud to provide a patriotic soundtrack to this year's fireworks show from Logan's Willow Park, July 3rd. and the Hiram and Lewiston fireworks on July 4th. Listen to this radio station each evening at 10 for patriotic music and messages. Together, we'll honor our brave men and women who serve and celebrate the United States of America. Special thanks to these businesses for sponsoring this year's soundtrack. Cook and Sauter Foot and Ankle. Foot injury? Doctors Greg Cook and Travis Sauter can help. Visit cookandsauter.com. Schreiber Foods, providing job security and financial stability for Cache Valley families. Schreiber Foods is hiring. BD Auto and Salvage. Get paid top dollar for your junker, autos, and scrap metal. Join us as we celebrate the red, white, and blue and cheer the hopes and dreams that is America. Tune to this radio station July 3rd and 4th at 10 p.m. as we celebrate America the Beautiful.
Hi, this is Chris Wilson at Wilson Motor Company. It's that time of year to celebrate our 80th anniversary with our biggest sales event of the year. We have reduced prices on over 300 Ford, Lincoln, Nissan, and pre-owned vehicles, including over 50 F-150s in stock and coming. We have rebates as high as $3,000 and interest rates as low as 0% for 60 months. Check out our inventory online at wilsonmotor.com.
Wilson Motor Company. We make car buying easy.
If you've ever passed by 485 North Main, you've likely noticed how well kept the property is. The grass is always green and the flower beds are always well kept and in bloom. What you see on the outside is exactly what you'll find inside. Care and attention to detail. Exactly what you want when you're dealing with one of your most important senses, your hearing. Dr. Daines' love and care for the community has always gone beyond the front steps at Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology. So if you're not hearing as well as you used to, stop in at 485 North Main in Logan or visit them online at cachehearing.com.
Thanks again to Kendra Penry. Check them out. Stokes Nature Center's website, again, logannature.org. The Canyon Jams concert are amazing. And I know there were some folks that weren't happy they moved this year to Von Bear Park, but it was getting so difficult to find a good spot up there at the Nature Center itself.
Yeah, and
it was a small area.
Parking is kind of tough.
Yeah.
And so, I think what was their first kind of home away from home? I think up at Second Dam.
Yeah.
Is that where they?
Yeah, they moved up Second Dam for a while.
And I went to one or two of their concerts there. That wasn't a bad location, but more centralized parking. I think it's probably easier to get to.
Yeah,
at the park in Providence there.
Well, and it's just a bigger area, and again, the view from Von Bear Park is just cool that time of day, especially. So yeah, it's a perfect place. By the way, we didn't mention this. I should have. All the concerts, the Canyon Jams concerts through Stokes Nature Center start at 7. But Kendra mentioned that they've teamed up with Lucky Slice Pizza. They're doing something really cool, and I wish more venues and event organizers would do this. But so the way this works is Lucky Slices, you pre-order for the night of the concert. And that is up until their 6 p.m. the night before. So say you're going to see the July 21st, Grizzly Goat is playing, which, by the way, I saw this band play at the film festival this year, and they are both good and hilarious. So check them out.
With a name like Grizzly Goat, you can't be too serious.
There was a story, too, and I can't remember what it was, but someone asked, or no, he just said, the lead singer just said, like, hey, the first thing everybody wants to know about us is why Grizzly Goat. What does that even mean? And it was a story. The story was just hilarious, and I can't remember it now. But anyway, so they played at one of the outdoor venues there at the film festival this year. They were freezing their fingers off, but they played, and it was really cool to see. So say you're going to see them on July 21st. At the Stokes Nature Center concert at Von Bear Park, up until 6 p.m. on July 20th, you can pre-order your Lucky Slice pizza. The only options, I guess, are the 14-inch, but the gluten-free one is available.
Do they have goat cheese on their pizzas, bro? Probably not.
Maybe.
For
but
the Grizzly Goat concert.
For that night, they should. But yeah, so you pre-order your Lucky Slice pizza, and then it's waiting for you at the concert. The only catch, again, you have to pre-order the night before the concert. But that's a really cool idea. If more places would do this, that would, I think, encourage at least my attendance to a lot of events that I don't go to because I forget. But yeah, this would get me out just for the fun of it, but also to be able to sit there and eat while watching this show. So yeah, you pre-order your pizza, you get an email with your confirmation, and then that and your ticket, you head off to the Stokes Nature Center Canyon Jams concert. Next one again, July 21st with Grizzly Goat. More details at logannature.org. Hour 2 right